Hello everyone, I'm Ina Man. Welcome to Higher Ground. First Nations in BC are in a constant struggle to reconcile the need for good-paying jobs with protecting the environment. Resource projects often deliver the jobs, but they also bring tension as communities struggle to weigh economic development against the environmental impact. Helping in the process are people like Laurie Sterritt, a member of the Gitxan First Nation and leader in Aboriginal engagement for some of BC's top resource companies. Today on Higher Ground, we have a chat with Laurie to discuss how she's making a difference and why she's excited to be involved in the She Talks Resource event coming up on May 4th. Joining us today from our downtown Vancouver studio is Laurie Sterritt. Thanks for coming on the show today. First off, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So over the last 25 years, I've worked with Aboriginal communities and corporations on a number of different fronts, mostly with how to engage with each other. So how to build an inclusive workforce, as well as how to bring up skills and experience levels to make sure that those two things match.
And you are First Nations yourself?
Yes, I'm from the Gitxan First Nation.
Is it true that one of your responsibilities is to help companies keep their commitments to Aboriginal communities?
Yes, that's true. So for 5.5 years, I worked with a nonprofit organization that brought together the workforce needs as well as the supply side of the equation, which was the workers that could come from a local First Nation. And working together with the educational partners in the field as well, we could make sure that the company got what they needed and the communities got what they needed. And on an individual basis, that every person was building the skills and experience levels that they needed to be successful on the job.
Laurie, how important is resource jobs to First Nations in BC?
We all know that the province thrives on the natural resources of this province. We also know that the economic health of First Nation communities is not always very good. So if we bring those two things together, there is a lot of possibility, a lot of potential. However, there's always a tension when it comes to the First Nation community to decide whether or not they agree with a natural resource project.
You say tension. So are we talking about First Nations want resource jobs, but yet they don't want a pipeline through their territory?
That's absolutely the case, yes. Communities that require more employment, more procurement opportunities with big companies, they really want to see themselves and the next generation have economic opportunities. However, they may have been trained over multiple generations in those communities to look out for the environment, to protect the land, to protect the water. So those two things may never reconcile. So how do we go forward and say yes to some projects, but manage those projects in a way that also reconcile with this tension that we have?
So what's been the effect on communities then?
In my experience, I've seen a lot of disruption and a lot of conflict around whether or not to say yes to a project. And there may be projects that have actually gone ahead, and there have been rifts in communities that, you know, some parts of those communities, some family members still don't agree with them. However, my position is always to try to find a way forward. Whether there is positive or negative, there always will be those things. How to find the middle ground, how to move forward in a way that is healthy and respectful for everyone involved.
And is that happening?
I would say yes, yeah. I've seen a lot of really positive progression toward, you know, getting to shared commitments between companies and First Nation communities, shared responsibilities, making sure that we all understand what the project is, how it will affect our communities and our environment, and how do we work together to make sure that all of the negative impacts are mitigated as much as possible.
So how successful have your efforts been?
I would say that one person at a time. I've worked with up to thousands of people. And in my last role, we placed over 1,000 people into good paying jobs that would sustain not only them, you know, an individual, but a family. And in some communities, hundreds of people working now that were not working before. So I would say that the impact of the work that I've done is measurable, and I'm quite proud of where I've been over the last decade.
Laurie, that's amazing. Congratulations on your work. Obviously, your success is one of the reasons you're involved in She Talks Resources. Tell us what you think is the biggest stumbling block to getting more women involved in the resource industry.
I think there are a lot of myths and there are a lot of realities that women face, whether that is building a career downtown in a corporate office or being out in the field and working in difficult circumstances, out in the weather and out on the road or out in camps. There's a lot of tension around choosing a career path that's going to take us away from the comforts of an urban setting or the comforts of our family. By getting out and talking together and sharing our stories, sharing our career paths and tips and hints for how to go forward with confidence, I think that's going to help along the way.
What kind of job options are there for young women?
There are hundreds of options, and in the mining sector alone, there are over 120 career paths that could be chosen. So, add up all of the forestry, the LNG, and the pipelines and oil and gas industries, and you've got thousands of opportunities. So, I hope that the young women that we bring together are inspired by what they hear, that they know that a non-traditional role, is definitely a possibility for anybody, and that they see themselves in the picture.
And that's it for Higher Ground this week. Make sure to visit our website, resourceworks.com, sign up for our e-newsletter, and don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For ResourceWorks, I'm Mina Man. Thanks for watching.